Alright, today I want to show you guys around my kitchen that I had over the last weekend decluttered and cleaned up and rearranged and just made more neat and pleasant to be in and also more baby friendly. I switched around some things so that like glass things that were on baby level so that the baby cannot reach them, but I put things in the place that he can reach that I don't mind him playing with, like Tupperware and canning rings and different things that he really enjoys, and I'm able to get a lot done in my kitchen and in everyday life just because I let him do what he wants on the kitchen floor and he enjoys being in there with me, and that is kind of baby proofing that I really like. So first I have my nice little coffee area that I love to keep nice and cute looking, and it just makes making coffee so much fun. Then our dining room table, obviously, which I cleared off clutter on there that we had building up. This shelf here has a lot of my equipment, my bread mill, my food processor, and the two bottom shelves I took off some glass things that were on there and I put things that I don't mind if the baby gets into, like plastic containers of my pasta and rice and all that kind of stuff, things that won't break, basically. My favorite part, though, is I got my husband to remake the shelf for me. He had made it, and if you see my other videos, it looked different. But I had him redo it so that I could fit these nice new spice jars on there better than the old way the shelf was. This is a basket of candy rings that the baby loves to play with, and I keep it there on the floor right next to this drawer, which used to have mugs in it, but I put my plastic Tupperware tops in there and other plastic things I have in there, and then this drawer for when he's taller and is still getting into things is just towels, and before those were glasses and mugs, and so I took those out and I put them in a new spot, and I'm very happy with that. Here he is actually playing in the drawer while I'm getting some morning chores done, and I was making him a smoothie and just doing things around the kitchen. And he is so content to just sit there and pull out the tops and dump out his basket of canning rings. And he really does stay content for a while as I do things around the kitchen. And I really enjoy inviting a baby into what is already there. I don't love the penning them off into something so they don't get into things because I can control what they get into. They're littler than me, and I can just control what they get into. I don't have to worry. I can move things around and rearrange things and know that I don't mind if he makes this mess, because my husband and I were talking about this the other day. It literally takes maybe a full minute to pick up these canning rings, and we have one basket of toys in the living room for him to pick up those toys. We can get it clean from whatever he does in under a minute, and it's so worth it to me to have him know what a kitchen is and what I'm doing in the kitchen, and that, like, just do regular life instead of being penned up and kept away. Even though I know when he's more mobile, people will say, well, you'll be chasing him everywhere, but I would rather do that and have him learn what real life is instead of just, only doing baby things. So he has been in the kitchen with me since he was born. I pulled in his little bed and he would lay in there, and then as he learned how to sit, I would have his bumbo seat on the counter with me as I baked things, and now that he can sit, he sits on the floor. And so this is the kind of style of parenting and baby raising that I am enjoying doing with my own little baby. He got a little nervous about the blender noise, so I need to come give him a little hug. Um, but yeah, so that is a brief tour of my kitchen and a brief um, just explanation of what I like to do and what I'm finding really works well for me as a mom to an almost 8-month-old, and just letting him play with real life things and not being so worried about him making a mess out of the kitchen, because ultimately it is not a big deal.
Albert. Yay!
Here's another mom piece of advice. If you have a little baby this age, 8 months, that loves to eat and try new foods and everything, he's been loving the smoothie I make him. It's just strawberries and bananas and coconut milk. They're not supposed to have dairy. till they're one. And a little hack is that I put it in a bottle, and I just made the hole a little bigger by slitting it with a knife just a little bit, and so it comes through nice, and he loves it.
Okay, I hope you've been enjoying the video about baby proofing and just my kitchen tour and everything. I am loving the new setup in my kitchen, and it's just really great, and it really is working for us right now. I'm gonna go ahead and feed my sourdough starter, and I thought it would be fun to take you along and just chat a little bit about my sourdough journey, because sourdough is a journey and it's a process, and I feel like there are phases that I go through that it's doing really great and amazing, and then for some reason it just like isn't as good. And so I'm still figuring it out, and I've been doing it for over a year now, definitely. Might even be close to 2 years. I know when I got pregnant last year, early in the year, so right? Yeah, like last January, like 2023. January, February, those early months of pregnancy. I guess it was March and April, those early months of pregnancy. I was very, very sick, and so my sourdough that I had started, I think summer 2022, I popped it in the fridge, and then I completely forgot about it. I got so sick, and life was happening, and I just forgot about my sourdough, and so it got moldy. And so sadly, it was sad because I had built it up from flour and water myself. Like, I had made the starter, and I had gifted the starter to my sisters and sister-in-laws and stuff, and so she was like the mother starter, and it was a little sad. But I got some more from my sister and restarted it. But I think the one I'm on now is actually a brand new one, because I think that got moldy again. Sourdough's process. And then I started this new one a few months ago now. But it really needs to be fed. It needs to be fed so much more often that it's hot. And we are going away for a week next week. So I don't think I'm going to make anything with this. I might. I'm going to feed it and see. It's Wednesday, so I might. I'll leave it out. I know right before we leave, though, I am going to feed it, and I'm going to put it in the fridge, because there's no way this is going to last the whole week that we're gone. So, already when it's hungry, it starts to form this like grayish, soupy stuff. I think it's called a hooch, and that's okay. That once there's mold on there, you're not supposed to use it, but don't tell anybody. A couple days ago when I opened it up, I just fed it, but it's been so hot here. I opened it up and there's mold on top. But I was not about to start a new starter, so I just scraped off all the moldiness and I reused it, and we've eaten it since, and we're fine. So you can bend the rules with sourdough. I like to drain any gross stuff on the top. Like I just said, like the moldy stuff, obviously, but even this, I'm just gonna pour out some. And I was going through a phase. So when I first started it, sourdough, I learned from Farmhouse on Boone. And she talks all about eyeballing it and how it's simple and all that kind of stuff. And so I was doing that, and it never was great. And then my sister-in-law was asking me for all these tips, thinking I was a pro and everything, and I was realizing I'm not really a pro, so I told her what I did, but mine never really got super bubbly and stuff. And so I started like measuring, even weighing the starter and then the flour, the water. I started doing that, and it was so much better when I was doing the exact measurements. Well, it was like, there's so many people that just eyeball it. Why can't I just do that? And so the last time I did this, I just tried to eyeball it. It just did not get bubbly. Like, I don't know. I just don't know if I have an act for it. I think I'm gonna try one more time eyeballing it and seeing if I can get it to bubbly. I do know that I have success when I make it thicker, like a thicker pancake batter. It's kind of the texture that I go for and that I originally went for. So I'm gonna do that. So I don't know what that is. I'm gonna completely eyeball it. So we'll see how this goes. Now I'm always going back and forth. Sometimes I do half whole wheat and half all-purpose. I get a nice organic all-purpose flour because I have heard that when it comes to flours, you really, really, really want to get organic because the chemicals and things that they spray stick so well to grain. And so flour, if it's not organic, has tons of chemicals in it that are sprayed to keep pests off and all kind of stuff, and then you're eating it and it's killing yourself. Like produce, you can wash and get some of that stuff off, and it's still not, the best, but like it's better than flour. So you really want to get organic flour. Playing with the rings, he loves that. Today I don't have any milled whole wheat, and I don't feel like turning on the mill and doing all that, so I'm just going to do all-purpose. I've heard different houses are different atmospheres, so different people have to do different amounts of things, and I guess I understand that. It is a little weird, but I guess it makes sense because it's living cultures and living bacteria and stuff that build it. So like my house is going to be different than someone else's house because there's different bacteria and things, so it takes longer or it can take shorter, and so I guess it makes sense, but still a learning process. I think last time what happened was I tried to do what I saw someone else do, which was guess how much starter they had. Say I did about a cup, so I guess I have about a cup of starter, so I measured out a cup of water and a cup of flour and put that in. I didn't have great success with it. I've had better success by just eyeballing everything. So like what I just did, just putting water in there, dumping flour in, and seeing the consistency. And this is the consistency. I could go with a little more flour, but I think I'm going to leave it here. This is the consistency that I've had the most success with. It's like a thick pancake batter. And so we're going to go with that today. Right, it's all fed. That's really how easy sourdough is. It is a journey and a process and a learning curve and everything, but when you find your knack and you find what works for you, it's so easy because I just fed that and now it's done, and I'm going to set it here on the counter till it's bubbly, and then I'll have something to make. And if we make something, I'll leave you guys along with me to see what we make.
We want to thank you for watching our video, and please consider liking or subscribing and following along because you do not want to miss out on any fun things coming up. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Say see ya!